Obviously, an exciting day for Florida State football, being able to have a couple of key additions to our team here moving forward. Just to start off, you all want to thank all of our coaches for the work that they put in over the last couple months in getting out and being in the high schools and obviously developing the relationships, identifying these young men that we absolutely believe are the right fit for our program and are going to help build the foundation for not only where we are but for where we're going. And I think it's been an exceptional group with the combination of the two signing dates. There's still a couple of potential additions as we're moving forward, but I think we've been able to identify and fill a lot of needs per position. But really, we're just an incredible group of young men. To the coaches, to the coaches' families, it's always a trying time when you're on the road and all the work that goes into it. But to the wives and the families, just very grateful for all that has gone into it. To our administration, to our recruiting department, to everybody on campus, from the professors, academic support, athletic training, strength and conditioning, the amount of work that goes into showcasing all the great things here at Florida State University. We're forever grateful for the time that they put into painting the picture of what the experience of being a Seminole is going to be to these young men and their families. It's critical for our success, and we're grateful for all the work and the time that goes into it. But today is a great day, and we're excited about the addition of the young men that have come into the program. We're able to identify early through the process and evaluate and really focus in on key positions and key needs. We're able to bring a couple of running backs into this class that we thought with the departure of Cam Akers going early to the National Football League was a position that we really wanted to address, and to be able to get a junior college All-American and LaDamian Webb was a critical piece, and then to bring a game-changing talent as in Corey Wren, out of the state of Louisiana, a guy that's one of the fastest football players in the country. We think is really a home run hit for us at that position to be coupled with Lawrence Philly, who we were able to sign in the early signing day, to be able to address some of the focus in the trenches. To be able to get Robert Scott out of Conway, Arkansas. That is a true left tackle. Prospect that we think has a potential that is limitless. I've been watching Robert since he was a sophomore in high school. Obviously being from Conway, that was where my alma mater was going into school. So a lot of great relationships there. That we're able to identify the right fit and what Robert's going to be able to bring into our program. We think is really special. Today. We were able to also address needs at the linebacker position, the defensive backfield. Being able to get DJ Lundy to announce today to Florida State was a special moment for our program. One of the best linebackers in the state of Georgia. A young man that I think has the ability to be able to come in and compete early. You look at a very well-rounded young man, not only with what he does on the football field, but also one of the best wrestlers in the state of Georgia. I think he has over 100 wrestling wins in his career, and just an incredible young man off the field. Excited to be able to add him to the class. You look at the defensive backfield in the addition to Sidney Williams here this morning. Another young man that's had kind of one of those interesting recruiting stories. Was one of the more sought after athletes out of Alabama, coming from Mobile and Viger High School. He had a couple of setbacks. He had an injury here that cut his senior year short. He's done a wonderful job at his rehabilitation. We're able to get him on campus and show him all that Tallahassee had to offer, and Florida State, and we're able to extend an offer to him last night, and he made his decision today to come be a part of the program, and we think that's a young man with a huge ceiling of what he can do, and really fits our program and brings a tremendous amount of versatility into the defensive backfield. You talk about the two young men that have joined the program out of the state of Tennessee, and you got Darian Williamson, who's a wide receiver that brings tremendous versatility. Is a big receiver, can run, great change of direction, explosive with the ball in his hands. This is another young man that I've watched over the last few years, up close and personal. I think a very dynamic playmaker, brings great physicality to the position. Once it was another student athlete who had his senior year cut short due to injury, but he has done a remarkable job in his rehabilitation and will be ready to go when he steps foot on campus here this summer. And I think is another tremendous player that's going to bring great value to the receiver position here. And I think maybe the guy that might be the steal of the class is Marquiston Douglas. 6'6", 260 pounds, first year ever playing football, is an extraordinary talent. We have a big time need at the tight end position. We knew that was something that we wanted to be able to address, and he was the first target that we went after. This is a guy that has incredible speed, incredible athleticism. One of the smartest and probably quickest to adapt to playing the game of football that I maybe have ever seen. I've had a relationship with his head coach, was actually one of my college's teammates, and so we had some wonderful ties to the relationship of those two young men. I think Marquiston and Darian have a chance to be special players here at Florida State, and we're obviously excited to be able to add them to the program. There could be a couple of other additions to our team here moving forward, but we're excited about the young men that we've been able to attract in both signing days, and you're definitely excited about the future of what this class has to offer. But at this time, I'll open up to any questions.
Coach, you just described the work and effort that the staff put in over the last month and a half to lay this all out. And did it feel different? Did it change at all from the first few days of getting ready for the early signing period?
It's those guys have been relentless. They've been relentless in their work and building relationships of the film study, identifying the guys that are the right fit for what we're looking for. And like I said, when we were able to put the staff together, I believe it's one of the best staffs in all of college football. Every one of the coaches that are here are relationship based. They're led from the heart, and that's really what has given us the ability to achieve at such a high level. The thing that probably stood out more than anything else is just the success rate of kids that have been on campus that signed with us today. I mean, it's incredible. I don't have the exact percentage of it, but it was phenomenal, and we truly went after the right fit. And there were some young men that as we had them on campus, we're always identifying all factors, and so it's always a constant evaluation of which young man's going to come in here and really be able to thrive through the accountability, the discipline, the passion to be successful in every aspect, because at the end of the day, this class is critical, because this will be the foundation of where we're going. You look at, I think, the 8 young men that are already on campus that we had to identify in a very short period of time, the success they're already having, not only academically, but socially and physically, in our tour of duty drills. I mean, it's impressive to see what this class has to offer, and we're excited about this group.
And Mike, you mentioned the importance of adding running backs to this class, and now with what you guys added last period and transfers, and now, I guess, one, how much better do you feel about that position moving forward? And then two, the versatility of the group, if you can talk about the different skills those guys bring.
Yeah, I think that's probably the highlight of the group of the young men that we were able to attract. I mean, you got guys that are experienced with Jayshawn Corbin and LaDamian Webb that have played college ball. One at another Division I institution, but also LaDamian coming as All-American from the junior college ranks. Then with just a great mix of the high school talent with the likes of Corey Wren. You look at Ja'Kai Douglas, that's already on campus, that brings great versatility, and then Lawrence Tolafili, who is a special talent as well. So to be able to bring 5 running backs into this year's class is a challenge. But I think when you look at how those skill sets all complement each other with great speed, great ball skills, physicality, and just tremendous young men, I think we hit an absolute home run with that group of talent.
Coach, especially with the transfer portal, I think after a coaching change, it's almost expected to maybe for some programs to have departures. I guess with the recent stretch that you guys had in January, how did that affect how you prepared coming in National Signing Day, knowing that you had to replace some players, most notably like tight end and the running back and things of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, that's all things that are gonna occur. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about the fit. And that's the thing that I've been able to see throughout my coaching career is that this is not for everybody. And the way that we do things, I mean, this is going to be an all-inclusive program. It's going to be built off of hard work, discipline, and you know, it's going to come down to the what we do each and every day, how we prepare. You know, we're not going to be a program that's going to talk about all the things that we're going to accomplish years from now. It's all about the work we're willing to put in today, trying to be the best version of ourselves and fulfilling the potential that we have. And so there's going to be guys that you know, come and join the programs with the absolute right intentions of what's to come. But then, you know, there's going to be some guys that, you know, maybe choose to go do something else. And we wish them all the best. But we're excited about what we have here and the young men that we get to do it with.
Coach, you mentioned Sidney Williams and Darian Williamson coming off injuries. How do you go about scouting a player that missed most of their senior year due to an injury?
Well, really, it was great because both of those young men we had an extensive background with. You know, from my time in Memphis, you know, I actually went to one of Darian's and Marquiston's games this past season early in the year, and both those guys were extraordinary talents. You know, unfortunately, you know, with Darian having the injury, you know, when we brought him in, we were able to really kind of evaluate where he is in his recovery, and both him and Sidney are both well advanced in their rehabilitation. And so you do your research, and you got to spend time, you know, getting to know the doctors and obviously the procedures that were done, but those are not of any concern whenever they're here on campus. And you know, with Coach Woodson, when you know, coming in from Auburn, you know, Sidney was a guy that they were high on through the recruiting process, so had built a great relationship, and you know, that really was a big time help in getting a lot of that background information. And you know, obviously being in Mobile is not too far away, so we've got some great relationships there as well.
Excuse me, a few of the guys you got in on late, how much of, I guess, Florida State's brand helps in that, and how much of it is just existing relationships that your staff had with their previous schools? I
think it's a great combination of both. You know, we have one of the greatest brands and most tradition-rich programs in all of college football, and these kids, you know, much like myself, growing up, you see the brand and the expectation of excellence that we have as a program, that they want to be a part of that. And they can get a sense of the staff that we have, the relations that we built, the attention to detail throughout the recruiting process. Whether it's a couple weeks that they getting to know them, to, you know, obviously you know, over a couple of years of being able to build a relationship with a specific position coach, or you know, an understanding of who I am and what we're all about. And you know here at the beginning you talk about the vision of where we're going, but it's more about the journey of what it's going to take to get there, and that's what these kids buy into. College football, it needs Florida State to be, you know, among the nation's elite, because that has become an expectation over the years, and it's one of the reasons that I'm here. It's one of the reasons I'm excited about this group and the young men that we've been able to add, because they want to be a part of that journey. And nothing is given, nothing is easy. I tell kids all the time, I probably have one of the worst recruiting speeches that can possibly be given, because I talk to them, I say there are 129 other programs you can go to. That's going to be a heck of a lot easier than this one. This is going to be about work. It's going to be about trying to maximize the potential that these kids have, and it's going to be all-inclusive approach, what they're doing on the field, off the field, in the classroom. So finding young men that want to be a part of that and do it with elite-level talent, that's what I'm excited about with many of these young men that we've been able to add, you know, especially even in just this second signing date, because I think they check all those boxes.
Stay over there and go to Gene.
Coach, a couple questions about Corey Wren. First, because of that transcendent speed, is he a guy that you'll look seriously at kick and/or punt returns? Then also, when you have a guy that has that kind of elite level speed, how do you typically like to use them on offense?
We like to use them in every way, as many different ways as we can get the ball in their hand, try to get them into space. It's kind of funny, you talk about relationships. Well, Corey was one of the first players that I offered at my previous institution at the running back spot, really that four-back position that we use. You look at the guys like Tony Pollard with the Dallas Cowboys, you know, Kenny Gainwell, he was just a freshman All-American. You know, Corey has a lot of that similar skill set where he can do it all. If he was just a play receiver, he would be great. If he was put in the backfield at what he did at John Curtis High School, which was one of the greatest high school programs in the country. You see a young man that is disciplined. He's tough. He's explosive. You want to find a way to get the ball in his hands, any way possible. And I think that's what he brings, that home run hitting threat to our offense and obviously into the program.
Wayne, front row on the right.
Coach, a lot of the guys that you brought in play multiple positions or play multiple sports. Is that versatility something that you actively look for in a player?
Well, we talk about it all the time, and I think I mentioned it in my introductory press conference. This is going to be a program that's built for playmakers, and I love seeing guys that play multiple sports, multiple positions. When your high school coaches see the value that you have, being able to do a variety of things, that's what attracts me to them. Because once we get here, the key is to be able to showcase all of their skills and talents. And there's guys. When you take a look at DJ Lundy, I mean, he is. To get him a part of this program was critical, and he was somebody that we were honestly late coming into the process late with, but he checks every box. I mean, he's a guy that for his first 3 years in high school was almost exclusively a tailback that is big, physical, powerful. You look at the success he's had on the wrestling mat. I mean, it's just then going to flip it over to what he did at linebacker this year, leading his team to a state championship. And anybody I talked to in the state of Georgia said he is the best linebacker that they had seen. His coaches thought the best linebacker they've ever had. That's what I'm excited about being around, and guys that are just instinctual playmakers but have an unbelievable ceiling.
You touched on going and get Robert Scott from Conway. Was that unique for you or special at all for you to kind of maybe go back and be a part of a place that's so significant for you?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it does bring the immediate connection. There's to be able to have those relationships, and for people that have watched Robert grow up. I mean, Robert is an elite level talent. I believe that coming out of Conway, Arkansas, Robert wasn't a young man that went and did all the camps, and he didn't do a lot of things. But I've watched him since very early in his career, and he was very, very sought after, and he had made a decision early in the process, and things had kind of changed where he was going to reevaluate his options. And man, he fell in love with Florida State, and I've been in love with him for the last couple of years, watching him grow and develop. And I think he's got a chance to be a special player. And it's not just what you see on the field; it's a work ethic. It's the character that he has, the family which he comes from. All those things matter, because when he gets here, it's going to be about the right things. It's going to be about work. It's going to be about development. Showcasing the best of what he has, not only on the field, but what he's able to accomplish off the field, and that's what we're looking for.
We'll come to Bob, second row on the left.
Coach, curious with a couple of these guys that have track speed, how much involvement did the track program have in helping you land a guy like Corey Wren or some of the other guys, and are you open to those guys maybe running track? That would be 2021, obviously, but you open to that kind of concept?
We're like I said, we're open to showcasing all the best and the brightest of what our guys bring to Florida State. And Corey is an elite level track and field specialist, so I expect him to go out there and compete well for our track team if that's the direction of which he wants to go. And I think that's something that we're definitely going to do here moving forward. I like players that can compete at an elite level, not only on the football field, but in any other sports program that can help our teams win championships, and that's what we're about. And I'll tell you that all the other head coaches, I think I've talked to every single one of them here at Florida State, and it's a special group. It's a special community that I get to be a part of, and we're all here for each other. And so however we can assist each other and elevating all of our programs, that's what it's all about.
Go to Michael in the back left.
Coach, obviously you talked about in the early signing period about filling holes and needs. Mentioned I think running back, defensive end, and offensive line seems like did pretty good there. But talk about just your filling the needs and filling those holes in this class, and then secondly, seems to be a lot of excitement from the 2021 class. Just talk about the feeling you're getting from that class so far.
Well, identifying needs is a challenge whenever you come in, late in the process. And, to have, I think it was 9 days from the day that I got hired to the first signing day, a lot of things we did was not only getting to know the prospects that we were going after, but, also trying to identify the needs within our own roster. And so that's a tough balance. But really, when it came to any doubt in our minds, we went back down to the production of the player. And, I'm always believing that, you can get great great talent and great potential, but I want guys that know how to play the game of football. I want guys that are passionate about being successful in every aspect. And so I think that it all worked out really well for us. I mean, we knew we wanted to try to get longer and to get more athletic and to continue to have that sense of physicality on the offensive and defensive fronts. I think we were able to address that. When you look at the front seven, I think we signed 3 linebackers that are you go watch their film and you feel their film. Physicality, speed, athleticism. I mean, I'll tell you, Stephen Dix, who's here on campus, you stand near him when he's running, you better watch out, because he only knows one speed. That's what you saw on film coming out of senior year, and that's what you get when he's here on campus. You go after the best football players that fit what we're looking for, and I think that's helped address a lot of the needs. And it's like at the end, a guy like Sidney Williams. There's some things that you're always trying to grow and get a sense of, but when you turn on the film, that guy's an exceptional football player. He has done it in every stage. You talk to any coach in the state of Alabama, and they rave about the player that he is. And then you couple that with the type of young man. I mean, that's a home run for us, and we think a guy with an incredible ceiling. Tying that to the future and our future recruiting, there's a tremendous amount of excitement about Florida State. Obviously the brand, the expectation, but as much as anything, the coaching staff. The group of men that I've been able to hire, and the excitement, the detail, the passion, the relationships that they build, that's what's going to really help set this class apart, and it's also going to help build for what we're going to do here in the future. And so I'm excited about it. We've had a lot of young men that have already been on campus, and that's going to continue throughout the spring. Once we get out of this dead period, but we're looking forward to what the future holds.
Go to Patrick, second on the right.
Yeah, Coach, this is your second transition class as a head coach. Were there any lessons that you learned at Memphis taking over there mid-year? And what did you apply, or did you apply anything from those lessons to this class?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's when you go back and you research that how that transition went. It shows that you go after great young men that fit what you're looking to do, because I believe in how we're going to develop talent. I believe how we're going to showcase talent. But when you get young men that are a right fit, and you know how you're going to utilize them and what you're looking for, then you're going to maximize the potential. And I think as you research what that looked like 4 years ago, I feel very similar about this class and what we're going to be able to do with the talent that we have and the opportunity that's in front of us. I think we put together one heck of a football class for this year, and what it's going to mean to the foundation of our program moving forward.
Coach, as you spoke about earlier, you didn't have a lot of time after you were hired to jump into putting together this 2020 class. And looking ahead to 2021, it's going to be your first full class at Florida State. How does having that extra time, change how you can prepare for and approach that class?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all about relationship and knowing as much as I can about the young men that we're bringing into the program. I'll tell you that I think that even in the short period of time, this was a home run hitting class. This is one that addressed needs. This was one that I think is as it plays out over the years. I mean, the type of football players that these guys will become, it's going to be exceptional. But we also look at where a lot of these kids are coming from, and it's kind of spread out in some places that were built off of the relationship. I'm excited about the relationships that are coming, and we have been working at a very relentless pace and building those for this 21 class, the 22 class. We've had some of the top 23 players in the country here already on campus, and that's going to be something that's who we are. We're about building relationships, finding the right fit, and then obviously showcasing what the opportunities are for these young men when they get to Florida State.
During the official visits, you're allowed to have your current players interact with the recruits. Did you learn anything from listening to what the current players who are just learning about your program, what they were saying to the recruits?
That's probably been my favorite part of this process. And we try to allow that on the official visits. We try to allow as much of that interaction with the coaches away from our current players, just so that they can tell what the experience is going to be. And the message that is that has been echoed to the prospects and now our signees. It's one that I'm proud of. And our kids are they talk about the standard. They talk about the accountability. They talk about the passion to showcase the best of what of who they are and what they're all about. And our kids are excited about the future. I mean, it is when I took the job, I didn't promise them many things, but I guaranteed them it would be one of the hardest things they've ever done in their life, and we're holding true to that guarantee. So they definitely are embracing the work, and it's an exciting time.
We'll come over to your left to Catherine. Third row.
You've talked about building relationships with 7 of the 8 state champions this year being from South Florida. How important is it to you moving forward to get down there and build those relationships and get those guys that are right here?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something that anybody will talk about it, and I could say that's any coach will talk about the importance, but we try to let our actions speak louder than any words that we say. We spend a lot of time there in South Florida. We spend a lot of time throughout the state of Florida building those relationships, and that's going to be something that continues. It's not a one-hit wonder where you go down and you try to make a splash. It's about developing those relationships that are going to last the long haul, and continuing to get to know the coaches, continuing to get to understand the schools and the different dynamics that make up our great state that it is one of the most talent-rich football states in the country, and the reception has been incredible. And I'll tell you that we've been throughout the state, we've been throughout all over in South Florida, and the excitement for the future of Florida State football in those areas, it's incredible.
We got time for a couple more, but first, TJ Davis.
Outstanding. That's a good one. We were waiting for that one. T.J. Davis, a defensive lineman from Metter High School in South Georgia, extraordinary talent. This is a young man that you look at the growth of what he's been able to do in his high school career. You talk about the selflessness and the versatility of a player. His junior year, he played middle linebacker and was a sideline-to-sideline player. I think he's 6'4". I don't know what we have his exact size as, but I mean he's close to 250, 260 pounds. This is a young man that I think the sky's the limit. He played inside linebacker as a junior in high school, very explosive player, then moved to the edge, as a defensive end, outside linebacker this year, is an extraordinary player. Very physical, fast, athletic, great young man. It was his recruitment exploded here late in the process, and we were excited about being able to get him on campus this last weekend, and it was a great fit for everybody involved, and so we're excited about what he's going to bring to our program, and definitely glad that just provided that news.
All right, we'll go with Brendan over here on your left.
When we spoke to Kenny back in December after the early signing period, he discussed the importance of using senior film as part of the evaluation process. I guess how big of a piece of the puzzle is that for you guys, and why is it important?
You see development, and you get a better understanding of how kids are developing throughout the process. That's one of the crazy things with recruiting and how early things start now in the evaluation mode, but you have to continue to evaluate. You got to see how kids develop, what they're doing, whether it's size, speed, athleticism, and so as we go through this class, that is one of the benefits of coming in late and having to put some pieces in place, is that you get to really see every aspect of it. There's times that you get an early commitment and things might go one way or the other, but we are able to see the total package with these kids, and that's what gives me such confidence about this class. Some kids might be rated higher than others because they developed later and they didn't get, maybe they didn't get the camp exposure or the things that help really fuel some of those national ratings. But there's guys on this signing group class that might not be the highest rated, but have a chance to be some superstars of this class, and we're definitely excited about how they've developed throughout their careers.
All right, last question. We'll go to Tim.
When you're evaluating the fit and whether or not a player is a good fit here, is it ever hard to resist the temptation maybe to bend your rules or say, hey, we can work on that when he gets here, or is that something that you've learned to kind of stick to those principles in that process?
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends, with that question, there's a couple different ways that can go. I mean, we know a certain skill set. We know the character of a young man. We know the passion a young man has to be successful. That doesn't mean that every kid that we get or take is going to fit in some cookie cutter style approach. I mean, every situation is unique, and for us, it's about getting an understanding of what drives the young man. what are they looking for? I can tell you that if their singular approach is just to come out and play ball and that's it, and maybe not approach the focus of the physical development, the mental development, the relationships that go into it, we're looking for the best and brightest in every aspect. And so I can tell you that's one of the most challenging things. That's what makes it difficult coming into a situation late, because that relationship's been over time, and so it's a critical part of our evaluation. But I think we hit a home run with these kids that we were able to sign today.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, guys, thank you so much.